Ancient Greece was one of the most amazing civilizations in history. It existed over 2,500 years ago, but its influence is still seen today in our government, art, and even the Olympics. So let's take a trip back in time and explore what life was like in ancient Greece. Ancient Greece was not one big country like modern Greece. Instead, it was made up of many city-states, or polis in Greek. Each city-state had its own government and rules. Some were ruled by kings, some by small groups of leaders, and some, like Athens, were the birthplace of democracy where citizens could vote on important decisions. One of the most famous city-states was Sparta. Unlike Athens, where people focused on education, art, and philosophy, Sparta was all about military strength. Boys started training to be soldiers at just 7 years old. They lived in military camps, trained hard, and were taught to be tough warriors. Spartan girls were also trained in sports and fitness, because strong women were believed to have strong children. Speaking of Athens, this city was home to some of the greatest thinkers in history. Philosophers like Socrates, Plato, and Aristotle asked big questions about life, science, and politics. Their ideas are still studied today. The people of Athens also loved art, theatre, and storytelling. They built huge outdoor theatres where actors performed plays about heroes, gods, and even funny stories about everyday life. Now let's talk about Greek mythology. The ancient Greeks believed in many gods and goddesses who ruled different parts of the world. Zeus was the king of the gods, ruling from Mount Olympus with his mighty thunderbolts. Poseidon controlled the seas, and Athena, the goddess of wisdom, was the protector of Athens. The Greeks told incredible stories about these gods, explaining natural events like thunderstorms, earthquakes, and even the seasons. One of the coolest things the ancient Greeks invented was the Olympic Games. The first Olympics were held in 776 BCE in the city of Olympia. Athletes competed in running, wrestling, chariot racing, and even a brutal sport called pancration, which was a mix of boxing and wrestling. The games were so important that during the Olympics all wars between city-states had to stop. The Greeks were also amazing builders. They constructed beautiful temples with giant columns like the Parthenon in Athens, dedicated to the goddess Athena. These temples were not just places to pray, but also symbols of their power and devotion to the gods. Greek architects designed buildings so well that many of their styles are still used today in modern government buildings and museums. Eventually, ancient Greece was conquered by the Romans, but its influence never disappeared. Greek ideas in democracy, science, theater, and philosophy shaped the modern world. We still read Greek myths, watch plays, and even use Greek words in our language today. So the next time you see a grand building with columns, hear about democracy, or watch the Olympics, remember, it all started in ancient Greece. Pretty cool, right? Thanks for watching, and see you next time for another journey into history.